there and why you guys struggled to finish towards the end?
I think, if we make one play or get one hit in the two losses, and it's either a tie game or we win the game. And I know going on the road in the SEC is tough. The second game, offensively, we were really good, scored 9 runs and got really good pitching and defense. The other 2 games, we had way too many freebies. We gave away too many bases. And you can't do that against anybody in the SEC. So we always want to win the freebie war. So walks, wild pitches, pass balls, no errors. We want them to make the errors. We don't want to make the errors. And we just gave away way too many free bases to win a series.
Midweek game was canceled this week, a little bit more practice, flex days. Just talk about that and focusing on into the Ole Miss series.
There might be a blessing in disguise where we had the 2 days off. We had Easter and then a flex day on Monday, which is a complete day off as well. Tuesday, we were supposed to go to Jacksonville State. And, you just don't mess with weather in the spring in Alabama. So canceled that. And then we got to practice here. We got to practice yesterday, and then we get to practice today. So when you face an SEC school, if you get 3 practices, that's a really good deal, because usually it's a midweek. And we did. We asked the team 2 questions on Tuesday. What do you need more of from us, and what more can you give to everybody else on the team? Those 2 things. What do you need more of, and what can you give to everybody else? And everybody answered the question. And then we took it to heart. So yesterday, all the things in practice was exactly what they wanted, or we heard. So it was a lot more competitive stuff. It was defensive situations with runners, a live pitcher. I was on the mound, and I had a great practice. And then today is a little bit more of the same, a little bit less because we play, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I think they really enjoyed it, got something out of it, and hopefully you'll see something better on the field this weekend.
Coach, Mudita, term that's been thrown around. You spoke to the basketball team, and now they're going to the Final Four. And it's a term Nate's mentioned a couple times this past weekend. What does it mean to you for him to continue along and those players to keep using that term?
It is unbelievable. And, it was January 5th, I believe, when I went to talk to him. And they had a 3-hour practice that morning. School has not started. It was a Monday morning. And one of the assistant coaches texted me and said, hey, it's going a little long. Might be noon. So then I was thinking, oh my gosh, a 3-hour practice. They're tired, they're sweaty, they're hungry. And they're going to walk into their locker room and then see me and be like, what the hell? Who is this guy? And then I'm going to talk to him, right? And Coach Oates introduced me and he said, floor is yours, Murph. And 30 minutes, maybe 25. Talked about it, explained it, gave the background of it, and then the rest was them. They bought in 100%. The coaches bought in, the trainer bought in, the strength coach bought in, the fans bought in. There was signs in the crowd for the next 5 weeks with Mudita on it. Garrett Walker, the equipment manager, he made T-shirts with Mudita. And at Nate's press conference before the last game to get to the Final Four, he had it on. It's just been so cool to see a really, really good group of guys buy in to a singular thing. And I'm having Mudita now for them. My team is, I'm sure you guys are. The opposite of Mudita is envy or jealousy. And that's one of the main themes when I talk about it. You cannot have envy or jealousy on a team. Because if you and I are point guards and you start, I should be happy for your success. I'm not jealous of you. You got an A on your jersey. I'm never jealous of anybody that has Alabama on their jersey. I don't want to play. I don't want to have to guard Mark Sears. He's one of ours. So to see them adopt it, believe in it, is just really, truly heartwarming.
It's incredible, such an impact on Mudita with other sports, and especially softball. Jayla Torrance, a published author, and then also she's getting tapped into the 31 tomorrow. Just talk about her role model and leadership on and off the mound this season.
She's a leader that rarely says anything, but how she does everything is why she's a leader. And from day one, she's done the right thing on and off the field. When I say that you're low maintenance, that's a hell of a compliment, which means you're doing all the right things in the classroom. She never missed an hour of study hall. She never missed the weight room at 6 a.m. She's just been a model student athlete and gotten her stuff done. And she's going to come away with 2 degrees from the University of Alabama. She's a legend. What she did last year in the postseason here, she won all 3 games at regionals after not starting since March 17th, which is just truly unbelievable. Her story is going to be told for years and years and years by me and our pitching coach Lance, of somebody that she was ready when her name was called. And that's also an ultimate compliment of anybody. Maybe she didn't get at the ball in April, but when it counted the most, when we said, we need you, she did it.
We're excited to see her this weekend on the mound too. Just talk about Ole Miss here in Rhodes Stadium, wanting to solidify a shutout, a most shutout last season. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, anybody in the SEC is going to be good. And a good example of that is when Ole Miss went down to Baton Rouge and beat LSU 2 out of 3. And I think LSU had the longest winning streak in the country at the time. And then Ole Miss walks away with a series win. And it's very tough to do at LSU. That's all you got to look at. And then the other day they played Georgia. I think the first game was like 10-7 and 8 or 9 innings. So it was a hell of a game. They scored a bunch of runs against a good Georgia team. So we have to pitch better. We have to play much better defense. And then the third key is we got to get a key hit. If you're going to pitch great and you're going to play great defense, the last thing is you got to score a run. So when it's second and third and 2 outs or bases loaded and 1 out, we got to have a hit.
Coach, and we were talking about Mudita, but learning from Coach Oates and the other great coaches at this university, what have you learned from him, talking with him and talking to his team?
Well, number one, we call it the championship hallway in Coleman Coliseum because it started with Sarah Patterson, who won 6 national championships. She was the queen of the hallway. And then both golf coaches won, and then softball won, and now I hope basketball wins. That would be the coolest thing ever. One thing I learned from him was probably 3 or 4 summers ago. The portal just kind of started to explode, and he had done really well, and he did great this year, So he came down to my office. I said, hey, let's talk about this. He brought lunch for both of us, and we probably sat for 90 minutes just talking about it. What he looks for, good and bad, what you got to watch for, and really taught me a lot about that. The other thing is his practices are obscene, and some of his staffers have told me that he's the best X's and O's that they've ever seen. So just watching a practice, which is very competitive, high-spirited, I'm just going to say something, I better not use those words. Very, very competitive. And it's fun to watch, and they get after it. And that's like, 5 months, because they start in October, and now it's April. So they have gone hard for a long, long time.